Welcome back to the Hockey Show, and today we are talking about the Boston Bruins as we continue our season previews. And last time we talked about the Anaheim Ducks, of course, a team that everyone seems to be thinking is they've got some hype to them. People think that that we're underestimating them, that they're going to be way better than they were this year. But I think we went from a team where everyone's wrong about that and overestimating a team, and we're going to a team that everyone is underrating this year. The Boston Bruins finishing this year 47-20-15. Once again, they lose to the Florida Panthers to end their season, but I think they've got some very high hopes this year, and I really think people should only be expecting greatness from the Bruins this season. Because remember, this team, 1 year removed ago, they won. Not just won, they shattered. Like imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin glass break right there. They shattered the President's Trophy record and just destroyed it. Won that, and of course they go on and lose in the first round. But they go on from that and continue their season dominance and have 109 points. They were in that 17 pack that was all 1 point apart from each other the whole year until the very end to win the President's Trophy. So they finished 109 points, second in the Atlantic. They have finished 5 points behind the President's Trophy winner, right? They were that close. And this team is still awesome, right? They, of course, beat the Toronto Maple Leafs but then lose to the Panthers again. But here's my theory about that, is that the Florida Panthers, to me, you have to win the Stanley Cup by possessing one single word, well, I guess acronym, and that is God. I think God is the key, which is goaltending, offense, and defense. You have to have all of them. And the Panthers had 2 years in a row where they just had the keys, except they finally lost to Vegas, who had a better God than them. But this year, I think the Panthers have finally broken up that monopoly that they have the Atlantic Division and just kind of the NHL. And I think that monopoly is broken, and I think a team like the Bruins did the exact perfect moves. As much as people have disliked what they've done this offseason, I think at the same time they have benefited from it and are going to be just as good, if not better, than they were this year. And given the circumstances of the current NHL, I think they have a great opportunity with the team that they've got. So let's talk more about that with the team that they've been able to put together. But first, you should subscribe because it'll make me happy. And you should just cross-check it. Just put your mouse down there and just go and then it'll subscribe. It'll make this cool effect. So you just subscribe. But anyways, this team here, right? Elias Lindholm is the main piece that they've added and will probably be on the upfront line as they've really needed a first-line centerman. And this guy, Elias Lindholm, remember, a few years ago when he was with that trio of Kachuk, the guy that keeps killing them, and Johnny Hockey in Calgary, they were voted consistently over and over again a top 5 line in the NHL. And he was a key part of that, right? He had 40-goal seasons, getting tons of points, point-per-game seasons. He knows what it means to be the top guy, top centerman of a team, right? Very offensive, which is kind of what they feel like they need, especially when it comes to heading into the playoffs. Sure, they have, Pasta and Marchand, but to me, Lindholm, he knows what it's like to be that centerman that can be the secondary guy to the main pieces of a Kachuk or a Johnny Hockey. And in this case, is a Pasta or a Marchand or whatever the lines end up shaking out being. And a team like that, the Bruins, they needed one piece. Now, personally, for me, I'm very disappointed in this team to have not gone for a guy like Martin Necas. And I know everyone was Leon Draisaitl. That's just not going to happen. There is just no way they could have ever have made a Leon Draisaitl trade happen. They just don't have the pieces to throw back at them, and then the cap situations too. That would just be so far to see. But the way Necas was able to play with David Pastrnak in that Czechia win for the World Championship, to me, it would have made so much sense. But no, they go with Elias Lindholm, and I think it's fair. I think Lindholm needs a new place to go. I think he was on a insufferable team on the Flames. And then the Canucks, he didn't really fit into their format. And to me, the Bruins, first line, he knows where he's going to play, is genius. And not just that, because then you've got Pasta, who's going to be an amazing player every single year. Marchand, who only seems to get better with age. Coyle, Geekie, and Zacha to finish up the top 6 is very good. Zacha on that top line, like, just kind of makes sense. Coyle, like, that is not a bad second line. Geeky was very good in the playoffs. But then what I love about this team is the youth, the young guns that they have. Poitras, and Brazeau. Brazeau was playing like a madman in the playoffs. And I know it'll be tough, and he's not going to get, like, 50 points or something. That's not going to happen. But he's one of those depth guys that every team needs. Just a strong playing guy who's going to go out there, continue the pace, put in some energy, and he might not create a point, but he's going to create energy and generate momentum for your team. And you throw him on the ice, you know that the puck is going to maybe be in the other team's zone, and he's going to do something fun with it. And Poitras as well, he was a half a point per game player. So if Poitras can keep that up, or even just semi and end up being like a 40-point player, Brazeau gets like 40 points as well. Frederick was great, and he's growing as well. It's a very solid top 9. And then you get to the bottom line of Max Jones, Beecher, and Kastelik. Nothing is wrong with that at all. Offensively, this team has what a team like the Ducks doesn't have with their young guns, right? Where the young guns, they don't need to have all the pressure to play the offense and the defense. They have the offense and defense. They can play very solid minutes out there on the ice. But the main point that I'm trying to make is that they are two-way. This is a two-way team. Zacha, Pasta, Martian, Coyle, Geeky. This second line especially is going to be good in both ends of the ice, right? And Pasta and Lindholm, I feel like, are going to have a great combination there. And to me, it's just this team's offense just seems so solid. They've got the young guns. They've got the veterans. They have top-end scoring. They had the perfect holes that they needed to patch with their offense. And to me, they've only gotten better when it comes to the offensive side of the game. Defensively, right? They don't really lose anything that big. And the big thing they add, of course, is the new big Z in Zadorov, right? Zadorov, McAvoy, Lindholm, Carlo, Lohrei, and PK, whatever stupid ass name is. To me, defense is okay. I think Zadorov is definitely he is not that great defensive defenseman, big tall guy, but he is a presence, and especially in the playoffs this last season, he feels like he's one of those players that I feel like it doesn't hurt to have him on your team. And to me, especially with that Vancouver run in the playoffs, he was not the issue with Vancouver. And I like him on this team. And even if he doesn't work out that well, especially on the left side, you still have Lindholm and Lohrei. And Mason Lohrei, talking about another young guy that's looking to make a name for himself. He is going to go out there and being on a non-pressurous third pairing, he's going to go out there. He doesn't need to worry about much. He's going to go on the ice, get very small minutes, 12 minutes a game or something. That might be a little too low. But he's going to go out there and he's going to get the puck and he's going to try to make a name for himself and do some nice generating of offense from the defensive side of things. And defensively, he didn't seem horrible either. And to me, it's the defense is solid. It's not the best in the NHL, but it's definitely, I would probably say, top 10. I don't think you could really... I don't think anyone would debate you on that, or debate me on that. But even though, the defense is very solid, but then you combine that with Jeremy Swayman finally playing in a first number one, not 1A, 1B, number one player goaltending on this team. He is so good. He is so good. He is the guy. And he is that guy. And Swayman in net, who's going to get a full season to play as the number one starting goaltender with a solid defense in front of him and an offense that can play very competitive that has only gotten better. I think this team is primed to do something that they haven't done in a few years, and that is get past the second round. That is what I think my prediction is for them. And I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but truly, this team has only gotten better than they were last year. Maybe not 109 points. I think last year might just be a really, really good year for so many teams. But I think when it comes to the Atlantic Division, they are going to end up being top 3. Top 3 in the Atlantic. I don't know if they finish first, but first, second, or third, I think it goes either way. The Maple Leafs, the Panthers will be up there, of course. But wherever they end up, I think, of course, they will beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that is just a given, no matter what happens. But I think this could be a season where if they run into the Florida Panthers, or if they run into the Lightning, or if they're the first place and they run into like a wild card like the Carolina Hurricanes, I think they can get past the first round no matter what. The second round's where things are tough, because that's where you would run into a team like the Panthers. But I feel like the Panthers defense has taken a big hit this offseason, and the offense as well, and the goaltending, I just cannot see Bobrovsky doing the same thing, how good he has been, so fucking good the last few years, that I don't think he can do it quite as well again, and I think this team is just too put together to be beaten again 3 times in a row. It's not a Maple Leaf situation with this team. I think they will have what it takes to overcome that challenge, and they will take down the Panthers, whoever runs up into them. And to me, I think my prediction at the end of the day is that they will end up losing in the conference finals or the Stanley Cup finals, because I think this is a team that has all of what it takes. They have God. They have a great goaltender in Jeremy Swayman. They have great, maybe not great, but good defense. And offensively, we know that this offense is good. The key is, to me, is that in the playoffs, the Stanley Cup champion is not a fluke. Who you end up playing might be a fluke, but the champion at the end of the day is not. And I think the Boston Bruins are a team that has run into the very best in the East, which is the Panthers, for the last couple years, and just has not been able to get past them. And I think this is going to be a year where they're finally able to get past a team like the Panthers or wherever ends up in their path. And in the conference finals, I think if a team like the Rangers can put it together, maybe they could beat them. The Rangers or the Devils could be a really tough opportunity, but I think the Bruins have what it takes to maybe beat them. But the finals, I don't see them winning. I don't see this team winning the Stanley Cup. I think a team like Dallas is much more prepared, or a team like the Rangers, if they can finally put their act together and their top guys can play a solid offseason, could take down the Bruins. So regardless of that, I think the Bruins end up top 3, amazing season. Some of these young guns are going to have some great opportunities and get some big points. One of them I think might surprise you and be close into Calder consideration. Maybe. That might be a bit of a ridiculous statement. Actually, I don't really believe that at all. Scratch that from the record. Scratch that. But to me, the Bruins, they have what it takes. They have what it takes to beat the top teams and to get past the bad teams. And I think this is going to be one of those years where, like, the Final Four, when it comes to the playoffs, will be another year where it's like last year, where it's like the Rangers and the Panthers and the Stars and the Oilers all have a claim to the Stanley Cup. And I think it's going to be another one of those years where it'll be like the Bruins and the Devils, and then on the other side it's the Stars and the Golden Knights. And it's one of those years where it's like all 4 teams have a claim. And to me, I just don't think they can hang in with one of those teams up there. But that is all I've got to say. So thank you for watching this. Once again, if you've made it this far, please, I'm begging you, please subscribe. And also, tell me what you think down below. If you completely disagree with me, if you think I'm just an absolute idiot, please tell me that too. But for me, this is my prediction, and that is what I believe. So try me down below. I fucking dare you. But anyways, thank you for watching this. I hope you have an amazing day. Too sweet, and ta-ta for now.